Hello everyone, this is Dr. Kim's Scholarship and Journey, and we'll tackle today the parable of the Rich Man and Lazarus, a unique parable in Luke. Rich Man and Lazarus. First of all, I just want to point out, it's so interesting that we have a name Lazarus for the poor man here. But the rich man is not named, right? That's quite interesting. So Lazarus, though he was a poor man, but he has a name here in this parable. He's known by Lazarus. But we do not know what his name of this rich man is. So let's read Luke 16:19-31. There was a rich man who was dressed in purple, so colorful and fine linen, and who feasted sumptuously every day. Feasted sumptuously every day is not easy thing, right? Can you make a party every day? I can't. Verse 20, and at his gate, see who's there, lay a poor man named Lazarus. How contrasting this image is, right? A poor man was there at his gate, and he's covered with the sores, who longed to satisfy his hunger with what fell from the rich man's table. So miserable, so bad a situation he is now. His name is Lazarus. Even the dogs would come and lick his sores. How bad. The poor man died and was carried away by the angels to be with Abraham. The rich man also died and was buried. Seems life is equal, right? No matter who you are, you have an end. In Hades, like hell, where he was being tormented. Hades is the place of being tormented, agony. He looked up and saw Abraham far away with Lazarus by his side. He called out, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue. Now he is so miserable. For I am in agony in these flames. He cries out, he calls out, Abraham, help me, have mercy on me. But Abraham said, child, remember that during your lifetime, you received your good things. And Lazarus, in like manner, evil things. He received evil things. Both of them are children of Abraham, but one is, treated bad, but now he is comforted here, right? Now he's comforted here because he was such a miserable place. Now he is in the right place, comforted here with me. Besides all this, 26, between you and us, a great chasm has been fixed, so that those who might want to pass from here to you cannot do so, and no one can cross from there to us. He said, then, Father, I beg you to send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, that he may warn them, so that they will not also come into this place of torment. Looks like he's a good guy taking care of his brothers, right? It's interesting. While he was on earth, he did not take care of poor man Lazarus, even though he was at his gate. But now all of a sudden, in Hades, he's worrying about his 5 brothers. Abraham replied, they have Moses and the prophets. They should listen to them. And he said, no, Father Abraham, but if someone goes to them from the dead, they will repent. He said to him, if they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, neither will they be convinced even if someone rises from the dead. So the summary or overview of this parable, just brief contrast. There is great contrast between the rich man, who has no name, and Lazarus, a poor man. The rich man did not take care of Lazarus, who was sitting at his gate, right? But they both died, out of the blue or at their age, I don't know, but they both died. That's the bare fact, equalizer, all become equal by this death. But their fate was reversed. Their fate was reversed. The poor man Lazarus is now being with Abraham, and he's comforted in Abraham's place. The rich man, the other guy, is in Hades, the place of torment and agony. So their destiny was reversed now. So interesting. Now the rich man asking Abraham, right, to send Lazarus to him to cool his tongue, but it's impossible because there is a chasm between them. And send to his father, Lazarus to his father's house and to his 5 brothers. No, Abraham said no, because there are already Moses and prophets. So the brothers, have to listen to them. Even someone rising from the dead, go back to the world, they would not listen to them, right? So how can we interpret this parable? First of all, I think we have to ask why their fate ended up in that way. I mean, one being with Abraham and the other with Hades. What are the criteria? What happened? What went wrong with this rich man that he ended up in Hades, right? From this parable, one thing is very clear, as you know, that is what? While he was having, right, sumptuous party every day, to being dressed in purple and fine linen, he did not know that there was a man, poor guy, was waiting, lying at his gate. Or even he saw it, probably he tried to not to see or notice him. Just like the parable of Good Samaritan, right? A priest and Levite, both of them saw, the man was being half dead there, but they passed by. In a way, they saw him, but it's like they did not see him, Something here, this rich guy who feasted, sumptuously, through the sumptuous party for his friends, but he did not give any help. He did not even know that there was a poor man, waiting at his gate. That's the problem, right? That's the only issue. Otherwise, this parable does not ask the question of justice. For example, why this guy became rich. We don't know whether he became rich in the right way or bad way or evil way. That is not asked, not only in this parable, but in Lucan Gospel as a whole. Because Lucan Gospel is very innocuous gospel, unharmful, peaceful, ironic gospel, which does not challenge the Roman Empire or the system itself. Lucan Gospel very much promoting the gospel of peace, along with charity-based gospel or ethics. Charity-based means what? If you are rich, what you have to do is just to share what you have with the poor, right? Otherwise, justice question is not much addressed. So much so in this parable, there's no hint that, no question that why this guy became rich, why, Lazarus was poor. This parable does not help us to understand that social matrix, dynamics, what's going on in society there. All we know is that one guy is rich and having party every day, hallelujah song sings. But the other guy is just miserable. Dogs come and, lick the sores, right? What's going on here? What kind of world do they live, right? The other question we have to ask is, why does Lazarus then deserve the place with Abraham? That's interesting, right? Did he do some good things, morally, ethically, religiously speaking? Did he do some good things? This parable does not give us the definitive answer, but one thing is clear. The reason that he is being comforted in Abraham's place is because he received evil things. In other words, he was not taken care of. He was not taken good care of, right? He was treated so bad. So now he's balanced out. I mean, he needs the right place, the place of comfort here with me. So the only thing he deserved a place with Abraham is because he was treated bad. And because he is also the son of Abraham, right? Even though he was poor, he is still son of Abraham. So he needs to be taken good care of because he was not. So he should be comforted here with me. That's the only reason. That's also interesting, right? The importance of taking care of people who need help, that's really a theme in this parable, as you notice. Just like a Samaritan man, right, who traveled and who noticed a man, a Jewish man, being beaten, robbed, and half dead, fell into the hands of robbers. This Samaritan man did not just, watch him being half died. He was filled with the pity, and he helped him out from A to Z, full care process. He did everything he could. That's Samaritan in the parable of Good Samaritan in Luke chapter 15. Same thing here, the readers are expecting from this parable that one. The only reason this rich guy's problem is he is unlike a Samaritan. He is supposed to help Lazarus. So the point of lesson is quite clear. For the rich man, his problem is he did not do what he's supposed to do. In other words, he has to use what he has with Lazarus. You should take care of him. The point is what you can do now with what you have. That's your moral responsibility. If you don't do, there will be consequence. That's your responsibility. Now, finally, a few reflection items. Do we see in this parable the limitations of a Lucan charity-based ethics? Yes, we see it, right? As I said earlier, this parable does not ask any questions regarding justice. For example, how he became rich and how Lazarus became poor. We don't know, right? This parable does not raise that kind of a justice system-related questions. The only thing is pointed out in this parable is that, this rich man did help Lazarus out. It's kind of a charity-based ethics. The only thing expected from this rich guy is a bit of charity, that he can help this poor man, Lazarus, out. But otherwise, we do not see justice-related critical questions, criticisms. That's interesting. As I said earlier, Lucan Gospel as a whole does not have so much interest in that system. So if you have time and you have, for the interest in Lucan gospel as a whole, you might need to study, gospel in different way. I mean, traditionally speaking, many people understand the gospel of Luke as social gospel. Yes, it's true. It is a social gospel thing. We see there, for example, chapter 4, 1630, Jesus entered the synagogue at his hometown and he began to read the roll of what? The scroll of Isaiah, right? 61. And he said, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. And I proclaim the good news to whom? To the poor. The release of the captives, All these marvelous prophetic teachings coming from Jesus. Where? In Luke chapter 4. And Mary, the mother of Jesus, it's called a song called Magnifica. Magnifica. There also Mary sings a radical song that the rich returned empty-handed, right? The lower person, the poor person, even the Beatitudes, the blessed are those who are poor. Yes, we have a kind of a radical gospel element in Luke, but overall, when you read from chapter 1 to all the way, there is an atmosphere or tone that this gospel does not challenge so much on what? Justice or the system itself. Okay, I think it's very true when we will study the next parable in next video. I'm going to present to you the last parable in my series, which is called the parable of the unjust judge and widow. Unjust judge and widow. In that parable, also, Luke added that parable proper of Jesus. Okay, Jesus basically talking about justice issue for this woman, widow. Widow experienced some kind of bad treatment, this kind of justice. She needs justice to be restored. She needs justice. But Luke, when he gives this parable proper, right? Luke edited and saying that Jesus gives this parable to emphasize the importance of prayer, the importance of prayer. But you know what? As you'll see in the parable proper, the main content of parable, there's no word of prayer coming in there. Jesus does not talk about prayer. The only thing he talks about is what? This woman, widow, was treated so badly, so she was seeking justice. She came to the church every day to seek what? Justice. So Jesus' parable about the widow, the church, that is what? About justice, not about prayer. But Luke tamed down somehow, right? The radical voice of justice, just kind of converting the original parable of justice to the parable of prayer, prayer. That is another Lucan theme that we see in Lucan Gospel. The importance of prayer, no matter what, is an important theme in Lucan Gospel. That's why probably in the parable of the widow and unjust judge, we see there, right? The parable is being told in Lucan way to emphasize the Lucan theology of prayer. But all I'm saying is that Luke Gospel as a whole does not emphasize so much on the radicalness of justice. So that's interesting. That's a Lucan Gospel. So this parable reflects that kind of a Lucan theology. Okay. The last thing, a reflection item here. However, there is good thing that we still have to learn from this parable. Why? Because this parable challenges the view of maximalist freedom. This is my term. Maximalist freedom. In other words, for some people saying that I can do whatever I want because all I have is mine. I can do whatever I want because all I have is mine, right? Nobody can prevent me. Nobody can tell me that, oh, you should help this, you should do this or do that. Because all I have is mine. I have a maximal freedom. But that is not a good thing, okay, based on this parable. We all have a moral duty to help, the poor people. And, all you have is not yours. There is moral responsibility, okay, that is attached. So let me finish now, and then I have one, parable left, as I said, and there is the widow and the unjust judge. And with that, and let me finish here, and thanks so much for watching. And if you like it, please subscribe to this channel. I would much appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.